Today we are going to practice American English, listening and vocabulary using a real-world news topic that many people in the United States have heard about: the Jeffrey Epstein case and the release of related legal documents. This lesson is for language learning purposes, so we will focus on clear explanation, careful wording, and useful English phrases often used in American news and legal reporting. Jeffrey Epstein was a wealthy American financier who became widely known because of serious criminal investigations and court cases connected to him. Over several years, multiple law enforcement agencies investigated allegations involving abuse and trafficking of minors. These allegations led to arrests, court proceedings, and later the release of many legal records and court documents connected to lawsuits and testimonies. When we say court documents, we mean official legal papers filed in court. These can include witness testimony, depositions, motions, rulings, and correspondence. In American legal English, you will often hear phrases like, according to court records, legal filings show, and testimony under oath. These phrases are commonly used by journalists to describe information that comes from official sources rather than rumors. Many of the documents connected to the Epstein cases became public through civil lawsuits. A civil lawsuit is different from a criminal trial. In a civil case, private parties sue each other in court, often for damages or accountability. In these cases, lawyers collect interviews called depositions. A deposition is recorded sworn testimony taken before trial. Learning this vocabulary helps you understand American legal news more clearly. When document releases happen, American news reports often use careful language. For example, reporters say, alleged victims, named individuals, and no criminal charges were filed against that person when appropriate. This careful wording is important in U.S. journalism because it respects due process and avoids making unproven claims. The phrase due process means the legal system must follow fair procedures before declaring someone guilty. Another useful phrase you will hear is previously sealed documents. Sealed documents are records that were kept private by court order for a period of time. Sometimes a judge later orders them to be unsealed, which means released to the public. Media outlets then review and summarize them. In American English news style, reporters often say documents were unsealed by the court, or records were made public. It is also common in American reporting to separate allegations from proven facts. You will hear sentences like, the documents contain allegations, not verdicts, and being named in a document does not imply wrongdoing. These are important clarification phrases and very useful for advanced English learners who want to understand formal reporting language. From a language learning perspective, this topic gives us useful vocabulary categories: legal terms, investigation terms, and reporting phrases. Examples include investigation, federal court, witness statement, evidence, charges, settlement, testimony, and official record. These words appear frequently in U.S. news media and documentaries. When practicing your English listening skills, try this method. First, listen to the full story without stopping. Second, listen again and write down key terms you hear. Third, repeat important sentences out loud. American spoken English often connects words smoothly, so repeating full phrases helps your pronunciation and rhythm. It is also helpful to notice neutral reporting tone. American news narration usually sounds calm, measured and precise, not emotional. Practicing this tone will improve your professional English speaking style, especially if you want to sound clear and credible. As you continue learning English, using real topics, including legal and news subjects, and can expand your vocabulary beyond daily conversation. Just remember to focus on language patterns, sentence structure, and pronunciation rather than controversy. For more American English listening practice through real-world topics, conversations, and story-based lessons, keep practicing regularly. Consistency is the key to fluency. Listen daily, repeat phrases, and try to use new words in your own sentences. If this lesson helps your English, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more American English learning content. Daily exposure leads to confident speaking. In this extended American English listening lesson, we will continue practicing with formal news-style narration, using a legal topic that has appeared widely in United States media coverage, the investigations and document releases connected to the Jeffrey Epstein cases. As before, this lesson is for English learning purposes. We will use careful, neutral language and focus on vocabulary, sentence patterns, and pronunciation that are common in U.S. reporting. In American News English, you will often hear reporters separate confirmed facts from allegations. This is done using signal phrases. For example, journalists say, according to investigators, the court records indicate, or the filing states. These phrases show the source of information. When you practice English, learning these source phrases will make your speech sound more professional and precise. Another common structure in U.S. reporting is the passive voice. For example, documents were released, charges were filed, testimony was recorded, and the case was reviewed. Passive voice is frequently used when the action is more important than the actor, or when the actor is unknown. Practicing passive voice will greatly improve your formal English comprehension. Let's review useful legal news vocabulary that appears in American coverage. The word prosecutor refers to the government lawyer who brings criminal charges. The word defense attorney refers to the lawyer who represents the accused person. A federal investigation means national-level law enforcement involvement. A grand jury is a legal body that reviews evidence to decide whether charges should move forward. These terms appear often in U.S. legal news reports and documentaries. When large document sets are released, American media often describe the process using phrases like document review, case files, archived records, and supporting exhibits. An exhibit is a piece of evidence presented in a legal case. You may hear phrases such as Exhibit A shows, or the evidence includes correspondence and flight logs. Even if you are not studying law, understanding these terms improves advanced listening skills. You will also hear careful clarification language in American reporting. For example, no conclusion of guilt is stated in the document, or the reference does not establish liability. These are examples of legal caution language. Practicing this style helps English learners avoid overstatements and speak more accurately in professional contexts. Let's also look at timeline language, which appears often in investigative reporting. Common phrases include, over the course of several years, according to a timeline released by authorities. At that time, years later, and subsequent filings showed. These timeline connectors are excellent for improving your storytelling ability in English. For pronunciation practice, focus on multi-word news phrases instead of single words. Repeat phrases like, according to court records, federal court filing, sworn testimony, official investigation, and previously sealed documents. Speaking in phrase groups improves your rhythm and fluency in American English. Another helpful exercise is emphasis control. In U.S. narration style, the speaker stresses key nouns and verbs while keeping function words lighter. For example, the court documents were released last week. Practicing stress patterns will make your spoken English easier to understand. Advanced learners should also notice how American reporters avoid emotional adjectives in legal stories. Instead of dramatic words, they use neutral descriptions like significant, extensive, documented, or verified. This neutral tone is widely used in U.S. journalism, business reporting, and academic presentations. To practice with this lesson, listen once for general meaning. Listen again and pause after each sentence to repeat it aloud. On the third pass, summarize each paragraph in your own words. This three-step method, listen, repeat, summarize, is one of the most effective ways to build high-level English listening and speaking skills. Real-world topics can be powerful tools for language growth because they expose you to authentic vocabulary and sentence structure. Keep your focus on language learning, pronunciation, and comprehension patterns. With steady daily practice, complex English becomes easier and more natural. If you want more American English listening lessons built from real topics, formal narration, and practical vocabulary training, follow the channel and practice with us regularly. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to support more daily English learning content. Consistent listening leads to confident speaking. This is an American English listening story designed to help you improve your pronunciation, vocabulary, and natural conversation skills. Listen carefully and repeat after each sentence when you practice. On a quiet Tuesday morning in Columbus, Ohio, Daniel Brooks almost ignored the phone call that would later change his life. He was sitting at his kitchen table, drinking black coffee, scrolling through job listings, and feeling completely stuck. For the past 6 months, He had been unemployed, sending resumes, attending interviews, and hearing the same polite rejection again and again. The phone buzzed once, then stopped. Daniel didn't recognize the number. He assumed it was another spam call. 2 minutes later, it rang again. This time he answered. "Hello, this is Daniel speaking." A calm voice replied, "Hi, Daniel. This is Rebecca from Northridge Logistics. You interviewed with us 3 weeks ago." Daniel sat up straight. His voice changed immediately. "Yes, of course. Good morning." Rebecca continued. "One of our new hires declined the offer this morning. The team reviewed your interview again. We were impressed. Are you still available?" Daniel looked around his small apartment like someone might answer for him. "Yes, absolutely, I'm available." She said, "Good. Can you come in today at 2 p.m. to finalize paperwork?" He answered without hesitation. "I'll be there." After the call ended, Daniel laughed out loud, not because it was funny, but because the pressure in his chest suddenly felt lighter. This was not his dream job. It was an operations assistant role, entry level, modest pay, but it was a door opening. In American workplaces, people often say, "Get your foot in the door first." That means start somewhere, prove your value, then grow. At 1:40 p.m., Daniel walked into the office building wearing his only navy blazer. The lobby smelled like fresh carpet and printer toner. He introduced himself at the front desk and was given a visitor badge. While waiting, he noticed employees moving quickly but calmly. No one looked stressed. No one was shouting. The environment felt organized. That made him feel more confident. Rebecca greeted him with a handshake and a smile. "Glad you made it on short notice," she said. He replied, "I appreciate the opportunity." That sentence, "I appreciate the opportunity," is very common and very powerful in American professional English. Practice saying it naturally. During the paperwork meeting, Daniel asked clear, direct questions about schedule, expectations, and training. In U.S. business culture, asking thoughtful questions is seen as a strength, not a weakness. Rebecca nodded and said, "I like that you ask practical questions. It shows ownership." Ownership in American workplace English means taking responsibility without being told every step. Daniel started the job the next Monday. The first week was overwhelming. New software, new procedures, new names. But instead of pretending to understand everything, he used another important American phrase, "just to clarify." He would say, "Just to clarify, you want the report before noon, correct?" This phrase is extremely useful. It sounds polite and professional. By the third week, Daniel noticed small problems in the workflow. Orders were being entered twice by mistake. He created a simple checklist and shared it with his supervisor. His supervisor said, "This is helpful. You're thinking ahead." Thinking ahead is another positive workplace phrase. It means anticipating problems early. 3 months later, Daniel was trusted with larger tasks. 6 months later, he was training new hires. 1 year later, he was promoted to team coordinator. Looking back, the biggest turning point was not the job offer itself. It was answering a phone call he almost ignored. In spoken American English, you will often hear this reflective pattern. Looking back, the real change was, practice this sentence. Looking back, the real change was saying yes when I felt unsure. Small decisions often create large results over time. That is a common theme in American motivational storytelling. For practice, listen again and repeat each dialogue line out loud. Focus on calm tone, clear consonants, and natural pacing. Do not rush. American speech is often relaxed but precise. If you want more long-form American English listening stories like this, practice daily, repeat aloud, and build confidence step by step. Consistency beats intensity in language learning. Keep going.